have a record of this since we don't have to worry about having somebody do minutes. And hopefully it'll come out great. So welcome everybody. Where are my
Thank you.
trolls? Okay. I could make you guys just a hair bit bigger and so I could see you better. But it's
Paul, may I give Brian a suggestion?
sure, go ahead.
Thank you. And Brian, do with it what you will. I learned this the last meeting that I attended of this club. I learned that if you adjust your laptop screen, or if you're using a desktop, it might be different. But if you can adjust the screen, you can change the image so that more view is showing.
Yeah, I angled it down and up. You need more of me?
You're good.
No, I mean, you're looking great. It's
I'm not that
just
good looking. I mean,
Hey, we
your
can go and give
smile is
Brian a
really
bigger
nice.
head.
All right. So but
Hello, Daryl.
Brian and Daryl are both willing to do a pardon my profile though, because my camera is situated in a weird place today. But I'll try to look this way so you can see a little bit of my front face. Hello. Okay.
hello.
So, but Brian and Daryl, and I guess maybe Mary and Ruth could flip a coin if one of you guys will wants to do a speech for 4 to 6 minutes on why and how you started your business. And we'll start with our. You guys shake your head. Yes, you're willing to do that. Daryl, you want to speak for 4 to 6 minutes, and Brian and Ruth are shaking her head so already. So
Oh, I was shaking my head back at them.
okay. You're doing what I did on my first interview before Toastmasters and on live TV. And I guess that's why a good example for Toastmasters. So I'll start with welcome you guys here as the Sergeant at Arms, which we will call the meeting to order and start with some inspiration. And today's inspiration comes from a famous basketball coach. Does anybody here ever watch basketball, play basketball, heard of basketball coaches? And see if you recognize this quote from it was I think it was on ESPN at one time in the 80s. So that might disqualify some people, or maybe not. I think we're all old enough. And that being said, the Lord must have loved ordinary people
Dean
because He
Smith,
made
Carolina.
so many of us ordinary. He made so many of us ordinary. Every single day, well, actually, yeah, this is part of the inspiration. Every single day, in every walk of life, ordinary people do extraordinary things.
Jim Valvano.
Exactly, that's the one. And that's who this is by. He said, you plus motivation equals success. So that's your motivation for today. If you haven't seen Jimmy Valvano or Jimmy V, just look it up on YouTube. And there's the last 12 minutes of his speech, or the whole speech, 48 minutes. If you can't find it, I'll send you a link. And next, we're going to start with our Pledge of Allegiance because in October 22, 1924, Ralph Smedley, about 100 years ago, started the first Toastmaster Club with the Pledge of Allegiance in the agenda. And it is in 145 countries, so I don't know if they represent the Pledge of Allegiance, if they're doing it in Bucharest, Romania, or Vietnam, or Timbuktu, or Podunk, Wisconsin. But if you want to stand or if you want to make yourself in your camera frame and help me do the Pledge of Allegiance, I'll stand in honor of Mary Stanley because she's the veteran here today as well. I pledge allegiance to the flag
To the
of
flag
the United States of
of the
America,
America,
to the republic
and
for which it stands,
which is
one nation,
one
under
nation,
God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with
liberty and
liberty
justice for
and
all.
justice for all.
And I'm glad that we got all that on video, so I got you guys standing and sitting and got all your good sides. And next up is our word of the day. I wrote it down in case I forgot the definition of this word, which is going to be, I'm going to call out, I don't have to
Hey,
call out our
Paul,
producer, Marion. What's that?
Paul, can I interrupt? Can I do the word of the day, please?
Well, you could do it in addition to this word then, because I
Okay.
I already kind of started it and it goes with the inspiration of the day. But I love to hear your word, and then people have to actually choose two words to say in the middle of their table topics today and speeches, and or the other roles as well, feel free to say it. So the first word of the day is going to be ordinary. It means no special features or normal. Ordinary. So try to use the word ordinary, and then Ruth, go ahead and add the second word.
Thank you. I chose the word launch because this has been a historical week and it means set in motion or start or set in motion. And that's as a verb, it's in connection with an activity or enterprise or business. As a noun, it's an act or instance of launching something. A sentence for launch could be Apollo 13 was launched before NASA knew there was a problem with the oxygen tank. And for business owners, entrepreneurs launch new businesses.
Perfect. And let me give you a clap for that. Everybody can clap for Ruth as well as the other word too, for launch, for ordinary, for Brian getting the inspiration of who said that as well. Thank you for that. Thank you for Daryl for being here. And so, fellow Toastmasters, future Toastmasters, distinguished Toastmasters, I think it's just myself here today. Is anybody else here a distinguished Toastmaster yet? Almost, or running towards it. And we're going to start with our self-introductions by our President Pro Tem. Will our President Pro Tem step up to the digital lectern and start the self-introductions? Okay, I'm stepping forward into that's me. I'm be a President Pro Tem. And since I can't, point to you because you'll all start talking at the same time, I'll say your first name and then you just repeat it. So if I say state your name, you don't say state your name. I'll say I'll say your name. It's a military movie that reminds me of that. But anyways, I'll say your name, you repeat your name, and then say your city and where you're in from, or maybe it's your country too, because Maurice last time was in Guatemala, I believe it was. So maybe you're in England. So
I believe you're right.
let's start with Mary Stanley, since we haven't seen you in a while. Tell us your name so that we remember it. Of course, it's there on the screen. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Mary.
Mary Stanley, Children of the Cornland, Medford, Minnesota.
If you didn't say that, I wouldn't know it's you. And next up is Ruth. I guess because it's our lady, I guess I should go ladies first, right? Just worked out that way too. Thank God I'm polite. So Ruth.
Thank you, Paul. And Daryl, it may have been you who knew the quote, who knew the basketball coach. I'm not sure. My name is Ruth Field Beck, and I am from Lantana, which is in central Palm Beach County, Florida.
Excellent. Welcome, Ruth. And then Brian.
Brian K. McNeil. I live in Charlotte, North Carolina.
Are you a Toastmaster too?
I'm a Toastmaster veteran. Yes, sir.
I just had a hunch. So welcome. And how about Daryl? Say your name, Daryl, and where you're from. Is that American Sign Language, or my wife is not bringing me my...
Daryl is muted right now.
What's that?
He's muted.
He's muted.
Oh, I thought you said he's in Munich. Are you in Germany? Do you know how to unmute yourself, or you're busy on the phone? We'll come back to you.
He's asking someone for directions and help.
Oh, is he? Okay.
He's asking because he can't do it or something.
Okay.
Oh,
So
go down to the bottom.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah,
Yes.
perfect.
Oh, is that Daryl?
Yeah, that's me.
Oh, tell us where you're from.
Daryl McCutcheon, out of the city of Anderson, Indiana, which is just a little north of Indianapolis.
Nice.
Welcome. And I think it's just me left. I'm Paul Finkelstein from Delray Beach, Florida. Used to be in Rockland County almost 30 years ago. So I think I consider myself a Floridian for the last 30 years. And the next up is the Toastmaster of the day. I have to introduce the Toastmaster of the day. Let me bring him to the stage. Hi, everybody. I'm Paul Finkelstein.
You need help, bro.
I'm the Toastmaster of the day. You're in for a real treat. We have 3 parts to a Toastmaster meeting. If you've never been, or if you maybe just glimpsed into a Toastmaster meeting, or you've never been to an online Toastmaster meeting, because here we are online and they have been 145 countries around the world. But there's 3 parts. There's impromptu speaking, or they call it table topics in Toastmasters. And that's not meant to stump you, or it's to help you think on your feet. My 2 favorite words are pivot and segue. So feel free, if you don't like the topic, you could just breathe. That's very important. Breathe. Take a deep breath and then let it out. And then you could begin. You don't have to go right into it. And not meant to make you stumble. And then we go into prepared speeches. I always invite, as we trying to charter a brand new Toastmaster club here at the OMG Talk or OMG Biz Cafe community. I want to invite as many businesses to talk for 4 to 6 minutes about how and why they started their business. And then if they like the format of Toastmasters, somebody didn't like the format already of Toastmasters, maybe he'll come back. I'm pretty sure he will. It probably just happened like me. And then the third part of our meeting is evaluations, where we learn what we did right and what we could improve upon. So with that note, I will turn over part of the meeting to our helpers. And normally in a chartered Toastmasters club, 3 different people hold the roles timer, counter, and grammarian. But today, Ruth Fieldbeck is going to double time it, and she's just going to tell us what the duties of timer, counter, and grammarian, briefly what they are, and then it'll come right back to me to oversee the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Toastmaster. Starting with timer, I will review the time and help to guide the speakers with the time. I have, kind of in your vein, Paul, I have a green, a yellow, and a red. We'll go over the times before we start. As a counter, we want to help the speeches be as smooth as possible to avoid any filler words or any double clutches like I, so. I will be tracking these and reviewing them at the end of the meeting. I am also the grammarian, so we're looking for the words launch and ordinary. I'm just an ordinary Toastmaster, not a DTM yet, but I've had a lot of experience and fun with Toastmasters. And Brian had shared when he first came on that this is his first demo meeting. We're going to launch tonight's demo meeting. So back to you, Mr. Toastmaster.
And let's give Ruth a round of applause. This is where you'll get lots of recognition as well. So thank you, Ruth Fieldbeck, as well. Next up, I think we'll begin and turn over the meeting to our table topics master and get right down to it for impromptu speaking. And with impromptu speaking, let me introduce the table topic master of the evening and bring him front and center to the stage. Hi, everybody. I'm your table topics master. And we have some great topics for you. So I'm going to say the topic. You won't know which one of you is going to have that topic. And you'll have a certain time criteria for that. Ruth, could you tell us how the timing will go again for table topics?
Yes, for table topics, I believe that it is 1 to 2 minutes. At 1 minute, you've completed your goal to speak for the length of the time, the minimum length. You will see this, which represents the green light. You can stop at that point if you want, or continue going. Your midpoint is designated by a yellow, which is designated by this book, and red, you want to wrap it up. You also want to be coming to your conclusion by the yellow. This is your red, Mr. Topics Master.
And then, of course, you'll have 30 seconds to wrap up, so you don't have to stop dead in your tracks at 2 minutes. And thank you, Roth. Give Ruth a pound of applause as well. Thank you, Ruth. And now our very first table topic is, which activities make you lose track of time? Which activities make you lose track of time? Mary Stanley.
Activities that make me lose track of time is doing research. I end up in rabbit holes where I keep looking and looking and finding new things and keep looking and looking. The research that I'm working on right now is all the latest when it comes to neurodiversity and autism and functional neurology. It's understanding how your brain is wired and how to overcome certain challenges, and understanding that you do this because this part of your brain's activated, you do this because this part of the brain's activated, and how to change that to keep you from doing things that, such as having overwhelmed and being having meltdowns, to being able to just take a step back and breathe. When I start doing this research, I'm looking at all these different sites, such as the Medical Institute, Intiva Health, places all over the world. And when you're doing this, it becomes one giant maze of different articles. And there, so many of them are now the original techniques that were never done before. When you're looking at this, it's trial and error from 5 different perspectives, doing the same thing in like Turkey, Australia, Norway, USA, and how all done independently ends up being the same results. And my son now has the research bug because he's studying the same thing that I am, but he's also learning about Rome and different places. So between history and the brain, we are in a giant rabbit hole. And that is one of the things that I do that I lose track of time. Thank you.
Let's give Mary
Toastmaster.
Stanley a round of applause. All right. And next up, it'll be a big surprise who gets this one. When you are 80 years old, what will matter to you most? When you're 80 years old, what will matter to you most? Ruth Fieldbeck.
Thank you. When I am 80 years old, what will matter to me most is what matters to me now. I would have to start with my worldview, my faith in life, and which I share with many of the people around me, and my faith in this life and also eternity. Also, one of my favorite songs, which embodies what how I try to live my life, even though I feel pretty ordinary, it helps me feel like I can make a difference, kind of like the legend of the starfish, which I would definitely encourage everybody to at least read, can see it online. You can be a little aware of it. We can all make a difference, and we can make a difference by shining this little light of mine, this little light of each of ours. I don't know if I'm going to live to be 80. When I was 13, it was the bicentennial. And I thought, well, it'd be really cool to either die young and tragic like James Dean or to live to be 113. I'm not really prepared to be 80, but most of my family has had a lot of longevity. So it's possible. My life was launched a long time ago, and more than midstream. We'll see what happens, Mr. Topics Master.
Thank you, Ruth Fieldbeck. All right. And that's another contestant or Toastmaster to be at OMG Biz Cafe, OMG Talk Toastmasters. Next up, our next topic is what makes you smile? What makes you smile? Paul Finkelstein. Oh, wow, I wasn't expecting that. Fellow Toastmasters, Toastmasters to be, distinguished Toastmasters, timer, odd counter, grammarian, Mary Stanley, and all of those group of men in the background as well, and those that are hearing this afterwards. How important is smiling in business and in life? Do you sometimes feel like you have to remind yourself to actually smile more? Or when you get wrapped up in your work, you're doing a painting like my grandfather did, and he always worked with his tongue hanging out, and he grit his teeth, and you could tell he was so absorbed in his work. But every now and then, I think that people need to see our smile a little bit more. Maybe a half a smile if you're seeing a profile from somebody across the room, so that people feel better. I think people always feel better when they're smiling. Oh, that's an amazing table topic. Thank you so much, Paul Finkelstein. Okay, our next table topic is very interesting, and that's this. I just caught it with a glimpse of my eye. If the average human lifespan was only 40 years old, how would you live your life differently if we all had to end at 40? Mary Stanley.
If we only lived to be 40, we'd be dead right now. But I wouldn't change anything in my life. Everything that I did, good and bad, made me who I am today. From the military to deploying to jumping out of helicopters to being a mom, which, by the way, I wouldn't, if we only lived to be 40, I would never have had my kids. But for the most part, I lead a pretty ordinary life, which I absolutely love because I got to launch my business. At the same time, I just launched a whole new program and did a whole bunch of different things, like partnering with the United Way to create new programs and different things to help doing, one, what I love, but two, helping others at the same time. So many people look back on your life and say, this is what we're going to change. This is what we're going to do differently. But in reality, you really wouldn't, because that makes you who you are for today. And if you went back and relived it, are you going to remember what the screw ups were or what you want to change when you get back there to do it? Or are you going to be caught up in the real time to figure out and end up making the same choice as you do now? I live in the present and I look towards the future, so I don't spend a lot of time focusing on the past or things and regrets that I wish I would have changed. I look at new innovative approaches and I enjoy my life. And who says if I live to be 40, we would figure out ways to change that one. Thank you, Table Topics Master.
All right. Good job. If you had to teach something, what would you teach, Brian?
Absolutely. If I had to teach someone, I would teach what I specialize in: how to sell yourself and your services better than you ever had before, so that you can earn more money than ever before. So many people have a negative connotation to the concept of selling, and it's simply because they don't understand what it means. I look at the word selling as the way it was originated, which was a word that came about to describe the process of helping people to get the goods and services that they wanted or needed in exchange of something of value, in other words, money. And I am an expert at teaching that. I teach it through my workshops, through my talks on my platform, through my coaching sessions, or through my books. I just published my 9th book, Brian K. McNeil, the Sales Confidence Coach, and I would teach how to sell yourself and your services.
Thank you, Brian. All right. I didn't see all the books, but it sounded like about a minute.
Okay.
Just
I didn't understand the session time thing in the corner. Can you help me?
No, that time is the recording, so we're not taking
Okay.
it, so we don't have a minute taker. And
All right.
then if everybody says okay, we can put it up on our podcast and have it as our 14th sample demonstration meeting so far. But
Okay.
I'm glad you made it back though, because I can't wait to hear your 4 to 6 minute story. Or
Man, I got knocked off, and then it said,
happened to me
"Wait
too.
10 minutes." Huh?
It happened to me also at the beginning.
Oh, but it told me I had to wait 10 minutes to get back on.
Oh, wow.
I don't know what
That
that
seems exorbitant. That seems a lot. wouldn't let me get back on for 10 full minutes.
That's weird. I don't know.
Oh, that's the new thing because Brian doesn't have a profile on here yet. It's one of
Oh,
the things I'm not liking about this.
that's a new
platform.
thing, Mary? Okay, so what you're going to have to do, Brian, is click on my name and make a quick profile so it doesn't happen again. I didn't know it was a new implemented thing yet.
He
But
talked about
Brian,
it.
Brian, I want to make sure you can see the timing devices. I'll be holding them like this.
Yeah,
Is
see,
what
well,
is
that right there, I saw you holding it for Mary, but it has a lot of glare on it, and I can't make out what it says.
Ruth,
But
I'm going to ask you for timing
I do
parameters.
have my own timer here, so.
Yeah, I'll ask
Okay.
Ruth
Well,
again when we get to the second part of our meeting for the prepared speeches. But I do want to hear from another couple of table topics. Maybe we'll get Brian on the practice too, and he'll see those timing lights or timing books. So this person here might have to talk about two candy bars because I think there's a candy bar called Joy. I think it's Almond Joy, but
I'll make sure.
there's also a Baby Ruth. So I want to know what does joy look like for you today, Ruth? What does joy look like for you today, Ruth?
Thank you, Table Topics Master. And that's funny that you should mention the joy. When I was still working, and I'm in a transition between getting another employer and also building my businesses. So this is an exciting up time for me. It's also a little challenging. So joy is an important part of my life right now and a needed part. And I thank everybody who's helping to enhance my joy and my happiness because those are two different things. Joy is just the experience of life. To me, joy doesn't matter about happiness. It's not about happenstance. It's just exist. And through existing, try to experience whatever we can. Almond joy reminds me of my last employer. I like to share holidays with people. And during one of the recent holidays, previous to my being downsized, I had brought in Almond Joy. And because it was an online pet pharmacy, I love animals, dogs, cats, horses, any kind of mammal, sometimes birds, sometimes lizards and spiders even. So I had brought in Almond Joy and Kit Kat because I thought the cat would be kind of aligned with us being a pet pharmacy. And I just thought that was fun. So it's a happy memory. And it was nice to see everybody eating and enjoying. Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much. Give Ruth a big round of applause. And while you're clapping, I'll regain my space that I'm looking for. I'm like reading tiny print on my screen. And I wanted to give somebody, oh, here it is. I got it. The next table topic, which is worse, failing or never trying? Failing or never trying, Mary Stanley?
All right, give me 1 second. All right, I'm back.
Okay, which is worse, Mary Stanley, failing or never trying?
Which is worse, failing or never trying? I don't understand the word failure. It's not an option. It's something that's not programmed. The deletion of failure is programmed out of us in the military. Our ethos, our training, everything is failure is not an option. Not trying is not an option. You always try. Not trying is something that's one of my biggest pet peeves and irritates the crud out of me for civilian world is people will sit and whine about how something is hard and they've never tried it. This generation of kids, that's one of their biggest things is, oh, it's something so hard. It's more important to try and fail than it is not to try at all. And it's not failure if you screw up, it doesn't work that way and figure out another way to do it. You always pivot and change. You're always thinking of different ways and different solutions to the problem. When it comes to looking at things, it's always looking at a way to solve a problem, not looking at it like it's something that's unsolvable. There's always a solution to every problem. there's always a fix. There's always a way around it. There's always a loophole, which kind of bites me in the butt because that's the way my kids think. So when you tell them no, they figure out a loophole of how to get around it. Such a good example is my son, who's not supposed to use potty words. We tried the bar soap routine, and so what he'll do is he'll say the word, and then he'll lick the bar soap. Or he'll lick the bar soap first and then say the word because he knows that was the punishment, so we had to figure out a new one. So failure and not trying are never an option. There's always a loophole in the situation. Thank you, Table Topic Master.
All right, congratulations, Mary Stanley. And next up, what does the American dream mean to you, Brian?
I started my clock. What is the American dream to me? It's very, very tricky to ask someone like me, what does the American dream mean? Because for a large part of our country's history, the sold to you American dream was to get a college education, get a house with a white picket fence, and to work at a company for 40 years and to get a great retirement and then live your life after your retirement. And I don't consider that my American dream. My American dream does not include going into debt for the rest of my life or being tied down to this or that. My American dream is to utilize my gift, skills, and talents to the full, earn great money, and be free to be me. Be free to be the best version of Brian that I can, earning fantastic money and using my life as a dynamic journey. Going places, doing things with my pretty wife, and creating more experiences than anything. But that's my American dream. And I think it's fair to assume that the American dream should be individualized. There's no reason we all should have the same American dream. That's my thoughts on it. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
All right, give Brian a hand there as well. Our next up, if this next person could wrap up their entire life in 6 words. Now, of course, after the 6 words, you do have to digress a little bit because you have a whole minute to talk, or you could just say them really slowly. So, tie up your life in 6 words. Paul. Oh, hi, everybody. Fellow Toastmasters to be, business owners, and entrepreneurs. My life in 6 words. Ordinary. Launch. Inspiration. Meaningful. How many am I up to? I gotta write it down now. Ordinary, launch, meaningful, that's 3. Marathons, that's 4. Inspire, that's 5. And smile, that's 6. I think those 6 words could be my life and all of your lives and everybody's lives around the planet. I think that whether you're ordinary or ordinary in the sense of the Jimmy V ordinary, not just ordinary like, you're just like normal everyday people. Launch yourself into entrepreneurship. I think everybody could use some boost in all of their incomes because I bet most people, I know most people live too much month at the end of the check. So I think that everybody should maybe embrace and look up the definition of entrepreneurship, and welcome you to stay in touch here at OMG Biz Cafe, and let's be like a mastermind for small business. Back to you, Toastmaster. Oh, hi, everybody. It's Paul Finkelstein. Oh, give me yourself a round of applause. Okay, thank you so much. And now our next, I think we only have time for about 2 or 3 more before our next segment. You won't know if you're going to get this or not. I got a couple of topics queued up over here. All right. What do you love most about yourself, Mary Stanley? I know that's deep.
She's on mute and she's still talking.
Oh, are you on mute and still talking?
There we go. I forgot I was muted. The monsters are So, what do I love most about myself? I am not ordinary. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not ordinary. I am a creative, linear person who thinks outside the box that can solve a lot of problems. I'm also very entertaining for myself and for others around me when I get bored. Someone in my environment ends up being the target of my entertainment. I am one of those individuals that enjoys helping others and figuring out new ways to give back to my communities, both locally and internationally. There are many programs I have launched because of this. And one of my favorites that I absolutely love came out of an idea that's called the Adopt a Soldier program, which is designed for soldiers in boot camps to have a place to go and be adopted by their community during the holiday season so they're not stuck and locked up in the barracks during the holiday season. Thank you, Toast Topic Table Master, something like that.
Table topic master. Thank you so much. I'm
If I can't figure
honored,
it out, I'm gonna put it all into one.
honored to be Rip Van Winkle too, if you want. Also, that guy was old. All right, our next. Oh, he's afraid of table topics. He just left. All right.
Oh,
What I'm thinking, Paul, what we should do for next time
Yeah.
is instead of with the books, but also share their screen and do a countdown timer. Like they have different videos on YouTube that does a countdowns.
it's a good idea.
That way you can see it on the screen too.
Oh, you mean like with your phone or something?
Well, you can go to YouTube and share your screen of a different timer. They have timers for every minute.
Yeah, it was a good idea that Brian used his own clock or phone or something.
Okay. Well,
But yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I got another table topic or two here, and then we'll get into our speeches. Hopefully, he'll make it back, and maybe he'll do a
And
profile or
Daryl,
something. I hope. So, Ruth. Oops. Well, I think it's you anyway. But close your eyes and tell me what you see. Ruth Fieldbeck.
close my eyes. I just kind of see a little bit of light. I don't have a whole lot of a vision right here, right now. But if I could choose to see, and it's kind of coming up within me, it's one of those altered states that I mentioned before. It's the ocean. And as long as the water is in the ocean bed, everything seems to be all right with the world. I just feel really peaceful. I purposefully drive home from one of my friends, Paul, it's Mary, who, when I'm driving home, I usually drive along a path inside of a residential neighborhood, and there's a nice walkway, nice sidewalk. Next to the sidewalk is a lake. I think it's man made, but I think it also goes out to the ocean. I think I've been told that, and I enjoy that on my way home. Makes me feel really peaceful. So that's me and what I'm seeing right now or thinking of right now. Thank you, Table Topics Master.
All right. All right. Great job, Ruth. Baby Ruth. Ruth. Joy Candy Bar, etc. How do you define success, Mary? How do you define success?
How do I define success? That is simple. I have made an impact in somebody's life. Success to me is not how much money I make or how much is in the bank. It's not how many followers I have or how many people listen to my radio show. I do my radio show because I like to talk. And it's my outlet to speak and keeps the peace at home because I'm more quiet. My husband doesn't have to listen to me babble. To me, success is about how I can make that impact, that footstep, and make it better for the next generation. But also, in the world of neurodiversity and with veterans, it's helping someone else, one, not commit suicide, but two, helping that person figure out the next step in life and be able to turn around and figure out what they're going to do next and give them and help them guide them into a new mission. With autism and neurodiversity, it's helping one child be able to grow and not be screwed up by our society of what we think they have to fit into. It's creating that world where, we are all accepted with who we are, no matter what. And we adjust and they adjust and meet in the middle. That to me is the line of success. And it was what my ideal world is. Thank you, Table Topic Master.
Good job. All right. Mary Stanley. And our next public speaker for today in the table topic session, I think this will be the last one, number 13, which is, what's your number one goal for the next 6 months? Paul Finkelstein, are you there? Hey, I'm right over here. Hey, the number one goal that I have for the next 6 months, fellow Toastmasters, table topic masterers, distinguished Toastmasters, entrepreneurs, small business owners. My number one goal is if I could help as many people as possible, but I can't just say as many people as possible, because in Think and Grow Rich, he says on the second chapter, the Desire chapter by Dr. Napoleon Hill, he says that you need to actually quantify it. Just saying as many people as possible is not enough. You have to be more exact for your goals. So I'm going to say over the next 6 months, I want to help 10 people learn the secrets to be financially independent for the rest of their lives. Because do you know that 95% of most people are dead, disabled, or broke by the time they get to 65? 4% are financially independent. And most people live paycheck to paycheck. About 8% live 80% live paycheck to paycheck. And 1 is rich. So if I could help 10, and then I could have them pay it forward, and they could help 10, and have them pay it forward and have them help 10, and then pay it forward and have them help 10, maybe I could reach 1,000 people, become financially independent in the next 6 months as my number one goal. Thank you for being a participant in the table topic session. Did everybody qualify? Timer, Baby Ruth, Candy Bar, Ruth?
Everybody did, except for one who had like a mirror effect and it wasn't really clear. And
Okay.
otherwise everybody,
So I'll
he
count them
was
in.
very close.
Our secret judges will do the tabulations. And Ruth, if you want to text me over at my number, my cell, for your favorite, and I'll
Yeah.
break the tie. And Mary, you could you could text me too your favorite table topic today. I have mine already.
Let's just put it in the chat.
Just as a recap too, you can do that too. As a recap, we had Mary Stanley talking about time and Ruth talking about what happens at 80 years old. And then I talked about smile, and then Mary talked about 40 years old. So we all learned how old she is today. And then there was Brian talked about teaching. So then it pays to come to meetings like this, because when you get to know people and learn things you didn't know before. Am I getting disconnected? Could you hear me?
I can hear you.
That's fine.
Okay, I hope I'm still here. And then Mary Stanley, Trying or Failing, and then The American Dream was in there by Brian, a 6-word sentence by myself, and then Mary talked about herself a little bit, and then close. Oh,